Welcome everybody to our BNI Talks webinar. My name is Steve Tenuzzo, your host, and today I've got Zach Roberts from BNI's product team, and we are giving a preview of BNI Online 2.0, kind of the next phase of the BNI experience online for both online and hybrid chapters. How are you, Zach?
I am doing well. How are you today, Steve?
Excellent. Glad to have you on. I've been looking forward to this one because I know there's been some trainings and things like that, but this is something that I think is a really cool experience. And I, as a fan of the online meeting format, I'm looking forward to seeing how this one goes.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's as you mentioned, the online format is very rapidly growing, online and hybrid, I should say, because both formats still meet in online and virtual environments. And those are rapidly growing within our business here at BNI. So we're excited to sort of roll out new features for them.
People are asking if this webinar is going to be recorded, and the answer is yes. We will do the usual thing. We'll send out a link so that you can watch it again or share it with people as needed. Zach, should we start with the poll first?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and start with the poll. So the poll here says, which meeting format does your chapter currently use? And we'd like to know if you're meeting in person, online, or hybrid. This is just so we can kind of get a scope of who all's here. But this, with it being the Online 2.0 platform, it is going to be for the online and hybrid chapters only. But if you are in person, that's totally fine. You can hang around. We are still going to talk about some of the features that, even if you are in person and some of the, let's say a major weather event occurs in your area and your chapter determines that they're going to meet online, this is already available to you, to where you can, or will be available for you, I guess, coming out as soon as we roll it out. Where for those meetings that you are standard in person, but for those meetings that you go online or hybrid, you would still be able to use the BNI Online 2.0. So it's still something that's really interesting to learn about.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'll wait another 5 seconds to close out this poll. But I think you'll be surprised by the results here. All right, let's end it. And how about that? Now, I expected lots of in-person here.
Awesome.
But look at hybrid is like coming on strong.
Absolutely. It's almost a pretty even split, right? Yeah. Almost 30% to each. That's great. So yes, for all of you in online and hybrid, this is coming to you very soon. And for those of you that are in person, still interested, this is something that if weather permitting or meeting permitting, or even if you go to attend a chapter outside of your own to visit, this is something that should be available to you. So it's really exciting. And we'll go ahead and sort of jump in here now that we know some of our responsees. So I am Zach Roberts. I'm a product analyst here on the platform growth team. What I do on the team is I help sort of develop and create this BNI Online 2.0 platform that I'll be rolling out to you all. So let's go ahead and dive on in.
All right.
There we go. So the Online 2.0 is a new and engaging way for online and hybrid chapters to experience their meeting. So as we mentioned here in the beginning, it is specifically tailored right now for online and hybrid chapters only. And for the hybrid chapters, that would be for the online portion of your chapter only, right? So for the in-person, we do not want to change anything about your meetings. And so for those, this would only be to sort of augment and benefit the online portion of those hybrid meetings. And so this is a new desktop app, as you can see here, for Windows and Mac. So we've designed it for both, but it does not work today on mobile or tablets or Steam Decks or any sort of those additional technologies. It only works for sort of desktops, PCs, laptops, however you want to go through naming those. But all of those pieces would still work, but today it is not on mobile or tablet. We did a poll of our entire organization and determined that the mobile capabilities of our membership is relatively low today as it stands. And it is something that we're looking at rolling out for the future, but we wanted to go ahead and get this started with 95% of our user base on either a Windows or a Mac PC. So the desktop app is here to help differentiate BNI from competitors, right? During the pandemic and even now, if there's definitely an opportunity for people just to buy a Zoom license, bring a couple friends together, and start up their own little version of networking, right? And we know the true value of BNI is in building those relationships, and to sort of leverage the all of the chapters and meetings and size of BNI that we have today. And so this sort of not only does it differentiate us from a Zoom meeting, but it also adds extra value to you as a member, sort of enhancing your experience. So as you can see here too, we have many exciting features. Some of the bigger ones here are going to be the Ask of the Week feature that we've built in, the automatic login. So whether you're online or hybrid meetings, when you go to use the app, it automatically pulls you into your Zoom meeting, which is super cool. It will automatically help you schedule one-to-ones, and you can see your member and chapter stats. Now, we'll dive into those a little bit further into the meeting here, but I just wanted to give a quick overview. So a big piece that we want to talk about here, and I know a lot of you are like, so what does this mean for me and what changes my chapter? And so we want to talk a little bit about one of our core values, which is tradition plus innovation, right? So let's talk about all the things that are staying the same first. So for you as your meeting, it will run the exact same way, right? You're going to join in through the Zoom meeting. You're going to, your president or your leadership team is going to share their slides. You're going to do the entire format that you're used to. None of that changes for you. Your meeting stays the exact same, right? Same thing for visitors and chapter success coaches that want to join your chapter. They will just join in through the Zoom link. The same thing that you set them up with now, they will be able to use that same functionality. Everyone's going to be able to join in through the Zoom per usual. So nothing changes for them, right? And your Zoom will still function as normal. So all of the buttons and chat and polls and breakout rooms, all of the sort of emotes and everything like that you put in there, how to mute and unmute, starting your video, stopping your video, all of that stays the same for you. So it's not a learning curve on the Zoom side either. And then same thing for if you're a president or a leadership team, you'll still host, you run the slides, breakout rooms, and your meetings the exact same way. So what is changing, right, and the benefits of what we're bringing is it's a new way for you to join your Zoom chapter meeting, right? So instead of having to go into your email or dig out this link every week, you just log into the BNI Online app, right? So you put in your Connect credentials and you log straight in, pulls you right into your meeting as soon as you enter an Ask of the Week. So you don't have to be worried about tracking down your link or if it's changed between weeks or whatever. It all pulls in automatically for you, which is super nice. And then finally, we're adding BNI's Online 2.0 features, which is, for our members to use during, before, and after the meeting. So not only can you use all the functionality during your meeting, it's also available to you before and after your meeting. So 24/7, when you log into the BNI Online app, you will be able to access the same things during, before, and after. So here's a quick glimpse of what it's all going to look like. We'll dive into these a little bit later and specifically what all of these pieces do. But you can see on the right side there, it shows all of my members for my chapter. And in the bottom, it says my chapter stats and my Ask of the Week. So all of this is here in the app built in for you. And we'll talk about those here just a second. So we want to talk also about utilizing BNI Online 2.0 and how easy it is for you. So a lot of you, if you're anything like me, where you're skeptical at first, you're like, now I have to download this whole new app. How does it interfere with Zoom? Do they sort of communicate and talk together? How much work is this going to be for me? The reality is it's going to be extremely similar to us that everybody that had to learn Zoom during the pandemic, right? So there was a bit of maybe a 1 to 2 week learning curve, but after you figured it out, it's way easier and it brings so much extra value to you in your chapter, right? And so BNI Online 2.0 is designed to be the exact same way. It's designed with simplicity in mind. So other than the download piece, it is incredibly easy for everybody to use. It's 3 buttons. When you log in, you type in your ask and you hit go and you're in your meeting, right? So the value that we provide is not only in the pieces that are there, but also in simplicity of how easy it is for you as a member to get into your chapter meeting. And so that was something that we really wanted to highlight and we also have built all of these sort of communications for you as well. So any sort of question that you may have is going to be answered in that FAQ sheet that we have, right? It's going to be, we have a education moment guide already set up for the educators in your chapter to sort of talk through and show everybody all the features. If you're a little bit skeptical at first and you want to see sort of education moment to really highlight the value, on top of this presentation, it will all be available to your chapter leadership team and everything. So any question you could possibly have, I promise you somebody else has already asked it, and we'll be answering it in that FAQ sheet as well. So all of this information is going to be delivered to you when it's time for you to download it for your chapter in your region. So I did want to go over the installation guide really easily, really quickly here on how to get it, right? So once you get it, you're just going to go to this website here, bni.app/beta, once it's available to you. And you'll get an email once you fill out the form, and it'll instantly take you to this email, and it'll say, hey, this is all the information you need. This is how you get it. This is where you download it. And you just follow the links in the email that you receive. And then finally, it's the same sort of download and run application that we're used to. You're going to get a little pop-up in the bottom right of your screen. You go ahead and click on it. It's going to open your online setup wizard per usual. You just click through the steps there. You allow it to make changes to your device, and it is a trusted device on both Windows and Mac. So that means Apple and Microsoft have both approved this app to be safe to go on your computer. And then finally, you just join in and log into the BNI Online app itself. It's very easy, very simple. And we have that installation guide for Mac as well. I'll just quickly brush through it. Same sort of a thing. You go to the website, you click on the link in the email, you go through the download process, you drag it into your applications, and then you open the app from there. So it's a very simple and streamlined, sleek technique that we've built into the installation guide as well. So again, we're keeping simplicity and easiness to use, ease of use for you and your members in mind at all times. So from here, we're going to pause because I know it's a lot of information I just threw at you in a few minutes, and we'll go through any comments and questions that we may have.
So a couple of quick questions right now that are coming up in the chat, not in the Q&A. Please put your questions in the Q&A. All right, but for now, since I see them right here, people are confused and want to know that this is a desktop application. It is not a website.
Correct. Yes, this is a desktop application. You'll only use that website to, you only use the link to download the app, but once it's downloaded, it's a permanent application on your computer. So it's not a website link that you go to. It is its own application that you download on your computer. And again, I'm going to caveat there of it's only on Windows and Mac PCs, laptops, and desktops. It's not for phones or tablets.
Right. Right. Those were the big questions about is it available in mobile and all that stuff. So, okay. So we know that it's just on your desktop.
Correct.
Okay. So, and what are people doing if they do not have access to a laptop for their meeting?
Yeah. So the cool thing about this is that we've made it where it's streamlined for any of the members that can't or are unable to use the application. That they just join through Zoom like regular, right? So let's say I work in finance and my business has really strict firewall policies, and even as I want to use the app, I can't. I can just log in through Zoom like normal. If I'm a mobile device user, I come in on my my iPad every week for my online meeting or my hybrid meeting. That's totally fine too. You just join in Zoom like normal. This is designed currently for those that are able to download it to use, but if you are unable to for any sort of a reason, or you're a little bit skeptical at first, you got to wait to see how everyone deals with it, then you can totally just join in Zoom per usual, and everyone is still going to be in that same Zoom meeting. If you're in the meeting or not, you'll have no idea for those that are just regular Zoom, because the meeting just functions the same way and carries on as normal. But the benefit, right, of the app is that when it comes to things like your Ask of the Week, the more members of your chapter that are using it, the more beneficial it is for everyone in your chapter, right? So when you get to see the Ask of the Weeks, where if I'm the only one in my chapter entering in my Ask of the Week, then it doesn't really help everybody else to see it, right? But if everybody else in my chapter, or 28 of the 30 of our members in my chapter are using it, then I can see all the asks for the 28 other members of my chapter. So we highly suggest that everyone who can and is able to download the app to do so. But if you are unable to, that's totally fine. You just join in Zoom the standard way, because that's going to be the same way for visitors, or if a chapter success coach joins your chapter or whatever, they're all just going to join through the regular old Zoom link and still get the same Zoom face and meeting experience that they're used to.
Great. Let's see. It's a lot of phone questions that we just answered. Does this take the place of the BNI Connector additional app? So as we know, it's that for the meeting, it's this one desktop app. But BNI Connector,
yeah, I can elaborate on that a little bit. So the information in the app pulls in from Connect. So they are linked in that way, but is its own app, right? So you log in using your Connect credentials. So the same information that you're using to log in through Connect is the same thing that you're using to log in through the BNI Online 2.0 application. but they are not the same thing in the way that you don't go to a browser to pull this up. It is a downloaded app or a downloaded application on your desktop, laptop, or PC.
Mhm. How do you do this if you're substituting for a member in another chapter?
Yeah. So if I am a member, right, and I have the application for it, but I need a substitute for that week, you would just send the substitute the Zoom link the same way that you would do with a visitor today. Or so, I mean, you can, because they don't have a Connect profile, so that's the limitation for visitors or substitutes. So it functions off of that Connect profile. So they would just join in through a Zoom link per usual.
Okay. Let's see. Someone asked, is it mandatory for online and hybrid members? Are you able to just use Zoom as always?
Yeah, absolutely. You are able to just use Zoom as always. This is not mandatory. I indicated that the more people in your chapter that use it, the more beneficial it is to your chapter as a whole. But it is not a required application, right? We understand that some people can't use it, whether it's they're a mobile user, or like I said, if you're in a certain businesses have very strict regulations on if you only have a business computer. So there are people in our cases where people won't be able to use the application. So we made it where everyone can still join in through that same Zoom link that they know and love and are used to. But for those that want to use the application, it's an enhancement on top of the Zoom meeting rather than a replacement for.
Okay. And let's see. Some people are having trouble finding it. I guess they're trying to download it right now.
Yes, you cannot download it right now. That link is what will be there in the future, but it is not the current link, so you cannot use it right now. And we dallied that on purpose because this is not fully available yet. We are testing it right now in the United Kingdom, actually, and they're having a great time with it. We're getting some wonderful feedback from them. But for us here in the US, it is going live in the US core very, very shortly. And then the remainder of the US will be getting it thereafter. So it should be coming to you all very, very soon. But we do not have, I can't give you all specific dates because I don't know exactly where you all live or what region or how that's all broken down just yet. But it should be to you very soon. But that link does not work actively right now.
Great. And let's see. Someone is asking about support, because some people have technical issues, and what's our support system for that?
Absolutely, that's a great question. So there is a feedback option in all of those in the app itself. There's a feedback option. You're always welcome to reach out to me, and that's Zach@bni.com, and I can put that in the chat right now. And then as well as we have a support email that you can always reach out to, and that is part of this training program, and it's included in here. I'll just make sure that I don't have that email memorized at the moment. Sorry, it's not in front of me. I think it's Bni Online support@bni.com, but I'm going to triple check that before I send it out in the chat here. But those are all also assets for you to reach out to. And if in reality, if you have any questions, you can also reach out to your president or your chapter success coach. They also have the sort of training and knowledge to either help you troubleshoot the app itself or to send it on through to us and the product team to sort of get some solutions for your questions or your issues.
For a chapter success coach, will it make more sense to connect through the new app or through Zoom?
Yes. So for a chapter success coach, I'm leaning in a little bit here. We're adding technology in for a chapter success coach to be able to go to all of their different chapters all through the app. But as it stands right now, we don't have that available. So you'll just have to join in through the regular Zoom link. But it is coming to you very, very shortly, where you should be able to join all of your chapters through the Bni Online application as well. Regardless of, if you have a multitude of online chapters, you'll be able to select from which one that you're attending. So it's going to be a great piece added in for you guys as well.
Okay. Let's see. Adding one-to-one scheduling to mobile app would be the best bang for the buck.
So the one-to-one functions through email. We'll touch on that. We'll get going forward here. We'll take one or two more questions, but the one-to-one option functions through email. So if there is somebody who's a mobile user, if I am on the app and I send you a request for a one-to-one, it comes to your email. So you can be on your mobile phone and still get my email and respond to that request, and then we can schedule it from there. So it's because you're on mobile doesn't mean you're inhibited from having those one-to-ones, but it is you are unable to start scheduling them through the app because you're on mobile, if that answers the question.
Yeah, all right. And so last couple of questions, well, kind of combined here. What's the incentive to get members to use this app instead of Zoom? And what other benefits besides seeing everyone's ask?
Yeah, so we'll get into all the benefits in a second. I'll actually do a quick walkthrough here of the features of the app. So we'll touch on that one separately. But sort of the the benefits that you're getting for having the more people in your chapter is that all of them are going to be able to see all of the features that are coming up, right? But primarily the one-to-one request is a big one. The ask of the week is also a very big chunk of the current functionality that we have in the application today. And those do require, like I said, for you to have the app, for you to be able to start initiating the one-to-one and to view the ask of the week. So again, the more people in your chapter that use it, the more beneficial it is to your chapter as a whole, right? If I'm the only one in my chapter using it, then the ask of the week functionality is only just for me to see what mine is, because I can't see everybody else's, because if you just join in through the standard Zoom link, you cannot enter an ask of the week. That's a BNI Online 2.0 feature only. And the same thing with the one-to-one request. If I just want to hyperlink their email or send the one-to-one request, that's only able to be done through the app as it stands today and not through regular Zoom. So those are features that once more members of your chapter are using it, the better the benefit becomes for you as a member and for your chapter as a whole. But also things like seeing your chapter stats and seeing your own stats is something that we would, it doesn't really impact other members in your chapter, but it does impact you, right? So I can see my stats over the last 4 weeks of thank you for closed business, CEUs, one-to-ones. And so it can help me hold myself accountable and the whole chapter accountable to make sure that we're still doing our CEUs or one-to-ones, thank you for closed business, referrals, all of those fun things, right? So we'll pause on questions then, Steve, and I think it's probably going to be easier for me to just show all of the features.
We'll answer some questions right now.
Yes, so we're going to jump straight into it. So again, these are sort of all of the features that we have built into the app. So you can access your online meeting through the app itself. You don't have to click through Zoom. You can accessing all of the features such as member card, ask of the week, additional menus. You can send one-to-one requests. You can see yours and your chapter's stats, and you can update your own ask of the week. So the first things first, right, is before you even join your meeting, as we've hinted at it a bunch of times, you have to enter in your ask of the week. You can see that the join meeting box is currently grayed out, and that is because if you don't enter an ask, you can't join the meeting. So it's something that we're requiring of you because we think it brings such value to you and your chapter to enter this ask of the week. And it doesn't have to be overly complex every week, but it can be. And the cool thing too is that links also work. So if you hyperlink like an email or a website, and your ask is like, hey, come check out my company's newly designed website and click around and schedule a one-to-one with me that way, then you can link that website through your one-to-one request, through the ask, and all of your members, when they're looking at your member card, and they can see your ask of the week, and they can click on that link directly, and it'll open up right there for them. So there's additional value on being able to quickly send links, and those are saved for you over a 4-week period. But before we jump into what would be our virtual meeting, I did want to talk a little bit about the interface here as a whole as well. You can see that we have a screenshot of what this would look like. And you can see at the top there, that's my meeting, right? So I am part of the BNI Superheroes chapter. We have 39 members, and we meet at Wednesdays at 7 a.m. So it shows all of that information already there. You can also see that it's a lot of grayed out, but we'll see future ones in the future. But this is where those silhouettes are and where it's grayed out. It's actually going to show your president, vice president, and secretary treasurer. And so it'll have pictures there, it'll have their names, and it'll say what seat they occupy in that leadership team, so that you can pay a little bit of, they have a little bit more recognition in your chapter. So you can see here in the bottom that I've now entered in an ask of the week here, and my join meeting button now lights up red. And so that means I can now join my chapter meeting. So as soon as you click that join meeting, you will be brought to 2 screens will open up for you, right? And so you can see that the Zoom meeting there on that right side is going to be the exact same features that you know and love and that you're used to. It is your standard Zoom meeting. This is just the way to join it. And so in a very quick synopsis, again, you're going to log in through your Connect credentials, you're going to enter your Ask of the Week, and you're going to hit Join Meeting, and you're already there in your chapter meeting. Pulls it up for you automatically. We've also set the Zoom window to open in the front automatically, because a lot of people are going to say, hey, this is going to be really distracting my chapter. A lot of people are going to be clicking around, seeing all these buttons. And we understand that. And we do realize that, your chapter meeting is an important time for you all to focus on one another. And so not only are all of the features that we're showing available during the meeting, but also after the meeting or before the meeting, right? You can access everything inside the meeting that you can access outside of it. But as well as the BNI Online 2.0 app itself has no buzzers, no sounds, no notifications. So as soon as you join this way, if you don't want to access any of those features while you're in the meeting, you can just full screen the Zoom meeting and you'll never see any of the things go on behind it. And you can just focus on your meeting. Because I know people like me are very easily distracted. And so if I have something that I can click around in the whole time, I would not be paying much attention. But I can always just, commit to myself that during the meeting, I'm going to pay attention to my fellow members. I'll just full screen the meeting, pay attention there. And then when I'm done with the meeting, I can do everything, all of the features, ask my one-to-ones, update my Ask of the Week, everything like that after the meeting. So I'm staying focused for my members during the meeting. And so that's why we sort of implemented the Zoom meeting to open up in the front to not be as much of a distraction. So like I mentioned here, that the BNI window will open up behind the Zoom window. So you might have to move that Zoom window around or minimize it so you can see the BNI Online features. So the same feature here, we're going to go ahead and jump into the main menu. This is what it looks like for you. And so we're going to open the member card, which is this bottom left button right here. And when you open the member card, it's really cool. It gives you a list of every single member in your chapter. We blurred out the names just to keep security here, but everybody in my chapter is listed there. You can see we have lots of people with the names starting with A, but I will show you my chapter card. And so this is the piece that we're showing. And in the top part there, you can see it's got my name, my phone number, and my seat that I own. I'm a BNI professional, and that's the seat that I own in my chapter. And we're calling that like your virtual business card. We've actually updated this where the phone number is hyperlinked now as well. So you can click on my email, you can click on my phone number. If I have a calling app on my phone, it'll start calling me. If I've got a, your default email client will also open, start sending out emails for you. You can see that I've been a member since April 1st, 2022 of this chapter. So it's of your chapter specifically when you've been a member since. And then my Ask of the Week is also there. So my Ask is a great future test. And that's what we're hoping all of you do, is to test this out and have a great future test for the app. And so this is just the basics of the member card. We're going to go ahead and jump on to the next one. You can see here we have the Ask of the Week feature built into the member card. And so if you click on the little eyeball there, it'll open the last 4 weeks of asks for myself. In this case, because I'm on my card, but this works for any of your members. So if I go to Steve's profile, and I'm like, what did Steve put for his Ask of the Week last week? I can click on that little eyeball and it'll show me his last 4 weeks so I can see all of them. There's also that option there to download if you click on the little arrow, and it'll download mine or Steve's or whoever you're looking at asks for the last 4 weeks. Excuse me.
Zach, I'm just going to jump in quick and just say that if you go back to that,
yeah,
that Ask of the Week is going to make people more prepared for their meetings, because they're going to have to, first off, think of what they're going to do before they even enter it. And having this access was really going to help people think about how they're going to present from month to month, and talk about these are the last 4 acts. So they might be in a kind of compartment of one category of what they're talking about to help them get more referrals. I think this is a really great feature.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're really excited about the Ask. And like I said, you can put links in there too, and they work. So if something, like let's say I'm having my presentation this week, I can go ahead and link everything that I need for my presentation in my Ask of the Week. And as I'm going through it, members are also able to kind of click along and look alongside that with me. It's a really exciting feature. We've heard tons of feedback about how helpful this is for all of our members that are testing it so far. So it's really exciting stuff. Now we'll go back to this main menu here. Let's assume we close out of the member screen. In this main menu, you can actually see the Asks of the Week for your entire chapter. And so if you come up here and you click on this Ask report in that menu that we opened, it will open the, let's see, yeah, we'll do it. It's going to be down here. Just kidding. I guess we don't have it included here. But you can, if you click on this Ask report here on this screen, you can actually see the Ask for the last 4 weeks for your entire chapter. So every single member that typed one in over the last 4 weeks, you can download a report and it shows all of them over those rolling 4 weeks. So not only do I have to click through Steve's profile, but I can see one for everybody. And if I'm a leadership team, we're also encouraging them to sort of download that at the end of every meeting and email it out and send it out to your chapter so that everyone can sort of see those asks, whether I have the app or not, or whether I'm using BNI Online 2.0 or not. So for those that aren't using it, they also can still see those asks over the last 4 weeks for all of the other chapter members. We also have the sending the one requests, right? So now we can see here, I'm in Rob's profile and I can see his email, his phone number, and what seat he has in our chapter, and his ask and all the members since. But now we have an additional feature for the one-to-one request, right? And so if I click on that box on the left there, it opens a default email. And I can actually share my screen for that to show you guys what that would look like. Boom. So this is what it would look like for you. So see it here. It's going to email Rob. It's going to ask for a one-to-one request. It's going to have all of this information already pre-filled for you. The only thing you have to go in is insert in a day and a time. Let's say I want to meet with Steve Monday at 2 o'clock. And it doesn't have to be something you've already pre-agreed on, right? You can just say, hey, I got time Monday at 2 o'clock. If not, what time works for you? And then you just hit send. It should be done in less than 5 seconds for you. Let's say Steve's in his feature presentation and he says something. I'm like, oh, I can give you a referral, right? I know a guy who's exactly what you're looking for. Let me click open this one-to-one request box in Steve's profile. I'm going to go in here. I'll just insert Monday at 2 o'clock, hit send, call it a day, right back into the feature presentation. Minimal distractions, but it's right there on the top of your head. Because for me, if I don't do it immediately, or if I don't write it down, it's never going to happen. So that was one of the features that we were really excited about adding as well. So I'm going to jump back into the presentation. Boom. So that's the key features of the one-to-one request. And for those of you asking what the second box is on the right side, with the little 2 overlapping squares, that's actually to copy it to your clipboard. And so if you don't have an active email, or you want to send it to somebody through like Teams or WhatsApp, or if you want to just text it to them, whatever you want to do, it'll copy it right to your clipboard, and you can send it to them in various alternate ways, so which is really neat as well. So then finally, you can see here at the bottom in the middle, you can see chapter stats and my stats. And what that does is it shows exactly that. This is going to be for your chapter stats. You can see thank you for closed business, referrals, CEUs, and one-to-ones over a rolling 4-week period. And then you can also do the same thing for your own stats. And so those will show up there. So over that, again, like over the rolling 4 weeks or about a month or so. So I can see how much closed business I've received, how many one-to-ones I've had, how many referrals given, right? All of my CEUs, all of that's tracked here for you to help sort of create that accountability for yourself. But also if it's showing your chapter stats, you can hold your whole chapter accountable for all of the work that they're doing within the chapter as well, which is super helpful.
Nice.
And then finally, the quick thing is if, let's say I type in an ask of the week and I wasn't too happy with it, or let's say I made a typo and I wanted to update it in that bottom right box, you can click on that. You just update your ask of the week here. You click save and it updates in real time. So now we will pause there and move on to questions, because I know I just covered a lot again very quickly.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of the email, can you insert something like a Calendly link in there?
Absolutely. Yeah. So it opens in your default email client. So as soon as you click that link, the very first one, let me go back to it just so I can talk about it. The left link there, the one with the mail on it, it opens in your default link. So for me, it's going to open in my Outlook, or if I have a Mac, it's going to open in like that mail, right? Unless I save Chrome as to be my default, or if I like I said for Outlook. And it is fully editable. So if you want to add a Calendly link, instead of just inserting a date and a time, you just say, hey, click on my Calendly and we'll find the time to meet. All of those work exactly right. So it's very editable. You can, if you want to change your name in there or whatever you need to do, it's not like a set in stone sort of scripture. It's all editable and changeable. Yep.
Okay. Does it track the one-to-ones as well?
Yep, it tracks one-to-ones. So you don't submit everything through here. So everything's supposed to be submitted through Connect. And I want to clarify on that too. You don't submit your referral slips or your one-to-ones or anything like that in here. This is just simply to pull that information and display it to you again. So you're not entering in your one-to-ones here. You're not entering in your referrals in this. This is just to show you what you have entered in Connect, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yes, one-to-ones are one of the things that are shown. We also want to add, one of the things we're working on is adding visitors to this as well. So you can see how many visitors you've invited for yourself and for your chapter.
Okay. Let's see. And will they match the same stats in BNI Connect?
Yes.
They're pulling from Connect itself, right?
Correct. Yep, they pull in directly from Connect. There's a little bit on the text side that we've made some changes to. Like there's a specific line in Connect where if your chapter leadership goes in and makes some edits or some changes in there, those might not directly reflect in. But for the benefit of the conversation, 99% of the time, these stats will be correct for yourself and for your chapter.
And to be clear, this is going to show chapter stats and individual stats, correct?
Correct.
But only
yes,
for you, right?
There will be two different pop-ups. You can see here, one's chapter stats and one's my stats. In this little slide deck, we didn't separate them out. We just wanted to show what they were available to you. But yes, if you click on my stats, rather than saying chapter stats on top there, it'll say my stats and show yours separately. So it's not, your stats are just for your own view. Nobody else can go in and click on and say, I want to see what Steve's got in his stats for this rolling 4 weeks. That's not something that we've implemented. We want everybody to feel secure in knowing that only your information is visible to you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Stats will be in real time or only when the chapter reports are submitted?
It's real time minus updates. So as soon as you put them in, it's not like it's going to pull in instantaneously because it takes some time for Connect to process those inputs. And then it also takes some time for Connect to send that through to the Bni Online 2.0 app. But I would say within 24 hours, you should see those. So if I submitted slips, on Monday, by my Wednesday meeting, they will absolutely be included.
Right. Susan's saying that her chapter doesn't use an ask feature or member cards. This is because this is all brand new.
Correct. Yeah, these are things we're adding in. That's correct. Yep. And it's not like this, again, this doesn't impact your meeting as a whole. It's not like, instead of doing your pitch every week, you're not going to tell everybody your ask of the week instead. This is just added on top of your weekly meeting. So your weekly meeting does not change whether you're using the Bni Online 2.0 app or not. Everything in there stays the same. It's very, we've done our best to make sure that everything that you know and love about BNI stays the same, and we're just adding extra things on top. So this is just added features outside of. So when you get the new Bni Online 2.0 app, the Ask of the Week feature it's not something that's supposed to be incorporated into your meeting. It's just something you guys talk about outside of the meeting, or to help you sort of generate one-to-ones and referrals within your chapter, right? So the ultimate goal is to help you guys get more business here.
And David's asking the question that I would ask. Is the Ask of the Week just a sentence, or can it be a paragraph of details?
It's all anything that you want to fill. I think there's a maximum character limit, but it's a pretty good chunk. We don't want it to be like, we don't want you to write a 3-page essay in there. But the box expands as you write out your ask. So up to, I think it's like 600 characters, I want to say. You can put anything in there, which is a pretty good chunk of space. I think it's like, 6 or 7 standard sentences plus a link or two will fill out that line. But we would expect that Ask of the Week to be sort of 2 or 3 sentences.
Great. Okay. Let's see. The Ask report said it's downloadable and can be emailed. Does everyone have the option to download it, or just leadership?
Everyone has the option to download it. Yeah. So all of the features that we see here, none of it is specifically for leadership only. I brought up that leadership can do it, but anybody's also able to do it. So those downloads work for everyone. Yep. So if I want to go in and download the whole chapter list of the Ask of the Week for the past 4 weeks for my entire chapter, I can absolutely go in, click the button, and do it. Yep.
Great. Okay, someone says, where is the link to sign up for this? So this is something that is not available yet. Yeah?
It's something that's not available yet. It is coming to you all shortly. I know the excitement is definitely building throughout the community to get this in their hands. We're excited to start rolling it out, but it'll come directly from your CSC. So your chapter success coach will be sending this out to everybody in your chapter as soon as it's available to you guys. And the minute you get the link, you're good to go ahead and download and start rolling with it that day, and it'll be live for your chapter as soon as you get the email.
Great. Okay. Do you have more to present, or do we just taking questions?
Nope, just taking questions at this point.
Okay, great. All right, let's see what else we've got here. Let me move back up to the top here. Let's see. A lot of people are saying we want this on mobile.
Got it. Yep. It's like I said, we built this to go for sort of the masses to start off with, but
Right.
building for mobile is definitely something that's we like. I'll touch on this a little bit. We have a designated corporate tech team that's only works on this BNI Online 2.0 app. Like we put out releases anywhere from every other week to once a month, depending on the size. So this is not a one-time and done thing. This is constantly going to get feedback and improvements. I actually want you all to email me again. I'll send my email in the chat. Any sort of enhancements, improvements, anything that you guys think that we can use to make this a better app for you, your chapter, yourself, whatever you need. Go ahead and send it to us. We have a ticketing system that we use, and I can promise you right now there's over 100 tickets of all these different features that we want to add, and we're growing that list. So everything that you can imagine, we want this to become.
Okay, there's about 3 people asking about hybrid meetings and how they work. So the first meeting of the week is in person. The following 3 weeks or the rest of the month, I should say, in case it's a 5-week month, 5 Wednesday month, or whatever day you meet. Those are all online. So the first one is in person.
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, let's see. Do you need to set up a new password, or is it our existing sign-in for BNI Connect?
It's the existing one. It pulls right in for you. So as soon as you download the app, as long as you know your online or your Connect credentials, you'll be able to use the same username and password to access the application.
Mm-hmm. We do not have a firm date yet as to when this will happen, but when you say very soon, we're saying the next few weeks?
Yeah, absolutely. It starts rolling out in mid-October. So the first group starts to get it mid-October. And I think right now in a rollout for the US core specifically, the last group gets it mid-November. So it's going to be really quick there. It's like 4 weeks and 4 different rollouts. And then the remaining of the US that are not core, so franchise, would start getting it immediately after that.
Okay. Can the people who join via their phone add in their Ask of the Week on their home laptop and then join Zoom via their phone while out of the office? That'll work.
So the Ask will pull in for the Ask week. It'll pull in the most recent Ask that you've typed in, and so you can download the app on any and every PC, desktop, or laptop that you have. So if you have it on any of those devices, but you're just using your mobile for the meeting, you can type it in on your computer and save the Ask of the Week in there, and then close out of the meeting. When you go to actually join your chapter meeting during the time, your ask that you entered previously will pull in and populate, because the Ask of the Week will always show the most recent ask that you've entered.
Right. Okay.
And that carries on week over week as well. So let's say I miss a week. When my chapter meets the next week, my previous week's ask will still populate for me in my chapter field.
Okay, great. And can you explain again how visitors would log into the meeting with Zoom?
Yes. So as a visitor, I would not have a BNI Connect profile, so I cannot use the BNI Online 2.0 application. But I would just join in. You send them the link as usual to join through Zoom, and they would just sit in the regular Zoom meeting. And this is one of the really cool pieces that you can sort of spin this almost like a, to help you sort of convert this member to say, right now you're sitting in a regular Zoom meeting. But what's really cool is we've actually developed this brand new BNI Online 2.0 app that shows all these extra things. It tracks all your stuff for you. We can do these extra features such as one-to-ones and send asks between us all in our membership. So as soon as you join on and you get your Connect credentials, you'll be able to access this as well. But for now, they can only join in through regular Zoom.
Great. All right. What format does the Ask of the Week download in as?
It downloads as an Excel spreadsheet.
Okay, so that could be printed if they wanted to.
Correct, absolutely.
All right. Let's see.
And I will clarify on the Excel spreadsheet part that we've made sure that this works for outside of Excel as well. So let's say I'm a Mac user and I'm using Numbers, which is the default sort of cell platform on my computer. It works there too. And if I don't use Microsoft and I use like Google and I have the Google Drive version of Excel, I can open it there as well.
Right. Okay, let's see, can you access the added features windows anytime after the meeting?
Yes. Yep. So you can see, I think it's on this screen. I'm sorry, I've got the Q&A up. But on this screen in the top right-hand corner, there's
Yeah.
we call those a hamburger menu, the three white lines surrounded by the red circle. In that menu, if you click on that, that's where you can access that menu is available to you in the meeting and outside of the meeting. And that is where you would access all of the stats. So you can see your members, your chapter stats, your stats, and you can edit your ask of the week there as well as download the asks for your entire chapter.
Okay, obviously this is used for the weekly meeting, but can this be used for a chapter success meeting? Or should we just go back
Yes
to
and
regular
no.
Zoom?
The way that the app is set up today is that members are able to join in and out freely. And so even if you wanted to host a one-to-one in there, you're welcome to do so. Eventually, we're going to have it where it's shut down to only work during your chapter meeting, because that's the inevitable goal and the final sort of end piece that we want this to be. But for now, anybody, if you all are on that same chapter and you want to use it to like meet outside of the meeting, as long as you all join at the same time, you should be able to see one another in the meeting. Yes.
Okay. Does the member card pull connect profile info, or is there something separate that a member should fill out?
Nope, it pulls all of the information from Connect. So all of this is not a manual process. It all drives straight in from Connect. So if this is also a good sort of shout out here that if your Connect profile is maybe a little out of date, or you need you got a new phone number or a new email that you want to implement in there, because that pulls in from Connect and you want all of your members to see the correct information, go ahead and just update your profiles. I would even say add in a picture, because in the main screen as a president, vice president, or secretary, you can see your picture. But in that menu section in the top right corner, it'll actually pull your picture in for you, regardless of if you own a leadership team position. So your picture still gets pulled in and used, regardless of whether you're a leadership team or not. So it's always good to have a picture in there as well.
Can we export the contact into a V card or format to import into other platforms?
I'm not sure how to directly answer that question. The best way that I can think of for that contact to be imported is almost through the Ask of the Week report, because that Ask of the Week report will show your name and what seat you hold in your chapter. But it today does not pull anything in like phone number or email either. So you'll at least get name and seat in the chapter when you pull that in, but we don't have anything where you can export it to see Steve and his email, his phone number, and then mine with my email, my phone number. That's not something we have today. But if you put that in, I'm writing it down to add to my notes. And if you send that to me in an email as well, we'll make sure to add a ticket, because that's a great idea.
In the future, will the chapter and personal stats be available for a longer period of time, like 6 months or 12 months or lifetime?
Wow, you guys are really good. These are all features that we're looking at right now, that instead of just giving you 4 weeks, that we'd actually give you slider bars where you can sort of pick your time range. We're still weighing that option in the ways that we don't want this to be a massive distraction in your chapter meeting. And if you give somebody the option of constantly looking at their thank you for closed business over whether it's a 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 month, sort of spending the whole meeting messing with the slider bars to sort of track their peak performance, if you will, or something like that. We prefer you do that outside of the meeting. So we're looking at the different functionalities there, but yes, in short, changing the time frame up rather than just being 4 weeks to be longer time frames is something on our horizon.
Okay, we've got a BNI lingo question here. Our chapter currently says a good referral for me is, should we consider changing that and start saying my ask of the week is?
I don't know if I'm the one to sort of dictate the answer to that question.
I wasn't going to answer it.
Yeah, I think that those sort of line up specifically in the ways there, but I mean, you can also use them separately as well. So, what we don't want to change your chapter, how anything you're running your chapter now, right? So everything, like I said, everything you're doing in your meeting today, we want you to continue and maintain doing. This is just to add and sort of augment, to add pieces on top of that. So we don't, if that lingo is what you're using today in your chapter, I would not suggest changing it.
Great. What if, as a BNI member, I visit or sub at another chapter? Will 2.0 allow me to use it when I attend another chapter's meeting?
That's a great question. The way that it stands today, I'm going to say no, because it's tied directly to you and it pulls in from Connect for your own chapter. So I don't think you'll be able to use it in a visiting chapter. And the thing about that as well is that the Ask of the Week and all of that information only tracks for your own chapter. So if you join in another one and you put in an Ask of the Week, you'd be adding an extra line from of membership when you're not really a member of that chapter. So I think the way, especially the way that it stands today, it's definitely not something you can do. But it's an interesting point of something that we can think about for the future of whether we want to make that available to you.
Great. When a new chapter launches in hybrid or online, will they have immediate access to 2.0?
Yes. So there's a couple different settings that we need to make sure that, like in your Zoom settings for your chapter, have to be set up correctly to make sure that the app works. But as long as you have those Zoom settings set up correctly, as soon as the chapter starts, they should immediately have access to BNI Online 2.0, and their members can start downloading and using it immediately as well. Again, as once it's rolled out for that area.
Will visitors get the Ask of the Week for the entire chapter?
No, because they're joining through the regular Zoom interface. They will not be able to see all of the BNI Online 2.0 features, and the Ask is one of those features. So a visitor will only see the regular Zoom interface. The only way they would see it is if after the meeting, it was downloaded and sort of emailed to them, so they could then see that that's a feature.
Not a bad
it's
idea.
not something they can see live.
Yeah. Okay. Our chapter meets in person, but the one-to-one request via email feature would be wonderful for all members. Could that be something made available to us in the future?
Yeah. So I'm not sure if we know how yet that we'd implement this for in person, because my understanding is that in-person chapters, your computer's away and your laptop's away, and you focus on one another. And so by adding in the Online 2.0 app to that meeting, you're introducing everybody to be on their computer. And that's not something we encourage. Again, we want everyone to stay using the same format and features that they know and love today about their chapter meetings. We're not trying to change that chapter meeting. But again, like, it is something that if outside of the meeting, if you have the BNI Online 2.0 app, you can, even if you're in person, you can still log into the app itself and go in and find that member and click on a one-to-one request and send it through the app itself that way. But we don't know if it's something that will be implemented during your chapter meeting. So outside of the meeting, absolutely go and log in, click on the links, do all the fun stuff outside of it, check your stats. All of that's available to you outside of the meeting. But again, you would not be using it during.
Okay. A reminder to provide the support email.
Yes, it's in this deck, which are we distributing this after, Steve?
We certainly can, yeah.
Then we'll just distribute it out in that deck. I need to track it down to make sure I got it right. But again, I can put my email in the chat that you can all send any sort of questions, comments, concerns, anything you'd like to me directly.
Great. All right. We are down to our last couple of questions.
Perfect.
Let's see. When using the app to log in, how does Zoom determine who is the host?
Yes. So if you are the person that needs to be the host of the meeting, if I'm like the president and I'm sharing the deck, because when you log in through the BNI Online 2.0 app, it automatically assigns you your own Zoom link and your own Zoom credentials. It does not pull in your signed, like my account would not be pulled in. So that's completely separate. You will need to know your host code is the short answer. So with the host code, you can just type that in and claim host in the meeting. And then from there, you can run everything. And that host code and how to do all that is included in the leadership training pieces that it gets sent out. And that can also be distributed amongst you in your chapter if it makes sense.
Okay. In the kind of same area, someone has login credentials that's automatically saved to their computers. It's been a couple of years, so I'm not sure I have it saved. When I log into the new app, will it give a forgot password option to reset?
I don't think the Online 2.0 app will give you the option to, like, you forgot your password, because again, you're not setting anything in the Online 2.0 app. You would just have to go to Connect itself to do the forgot password and reset. And then once you remember your password, you will then just use that in the Online 2.0 app. And I know that the Online 2.0 app has the ability to at least remember your email, but you'll have to type in your password every time for security purposes. We don't want the app itself to save anybody's passwords. So you'll have to type in your own password, but it will remember your username or email for login.
All right, I think we can wrap it up right there. Lots
Perfect.
of amazing questions. Thanks, everybody. Zach, any final words before we wrap up?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate that this was designed to be simple, right? We want to make it as easy as possible for you to do business in your online or hybrid chapter, right? I know we talked about a lot today and we've covered a lot of different pieces, but in reality, the only thing that you really need to take away is that you're just going to log into the app, enter your ask of the week, and join your meeting as usual, right? So it's designed with member simplicity at heart and by bringing you value. And so those are the two sort of key pieces that I want to take away from this.
Excellent. Thanks so much for being on today, sharing all this great info. We're really looking forward to this getting underway in just a few weeks.
Absolutely.
Everyone, give yourselves a CEU for being